Hello. Hello. As always, if you are new here, welcome. If you have been here before, welcome back. So it is officially the end of week 2 of 75 Hard, which means that we're gonna do a little bit of review and the things I learned this week. So we're gonna start off with probably the biggest lesson that I learned this week. So when I started 75 Hard and I read the rules and I saw 2 75-minute workouts every day, I'm one of those people that's just like, go hard or go home, right? So when I saw 2 75-minute workouts a day, I was like, let's get it. Like, we're gonna go 2 intense 75-minute workouts every single day. Like, I'm trying to get the most out of this 75 days. I want to see the biggest results. I want to feel the fittest I've ever been. Okay. I did not take a rest day at all in week 1, and I paid for it the entire first half of week 2 of 75 Hard. I spent Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, arguably part of Thursday, trying to recover my thighs from this like sharp pain that I was feeling in them. I had obviously just gone way too hard on my legs and they had not been able to recover. And part of recovery is letting your muscles repair themselves, and that repair and like the fibers within your muscles that are built during repair and all of that are part of what builds muscle growth. And it felt like my thighs were ripped. Like, I know that that sounds intense and probably a little dramatic, but like, that's how it felt. There were 2 spots in both of my thighs and that's how it felt. So I had to take the entire first half of the week pretty much off. And I mean, I did some upper body stuff, but like, I couldn't really do yoga. I couldn't do legs. Like, I really had to take it super easy and kind of wasted the whole first half of the week because I didn't listen to my body when it told me that it needed to rest. So lesson number 1, biggest lesson I think I've learned so far that not only applies to 75 Hard, but also just to a fitness journey in general, is listen to your body and take your rest days really seriously. When I say rest day on 75 Hard, you can't skip a day, right? Like, you have to do 2 workouts every day. There is no skipping. So when I have a rest day, I do 2 long walks. I don't go at an incline. I don't go at a super fast pace. Like, I'm moving my body for 45 minutes twice a day. And that's what I consider a rest day. So I don't push my body hard. I really let myself recover. I take it slow that day. Like, I take my rest day really serious this week, and my body feels so much better. That also just takes me to the point of me thinking that both workouts needed to be really intense when you're doing 75 Hard. I think that that's, when you haven't done it, I think that that's what people think is, that's what I thought was the scariest part of doing 75 Hard, was like, oh my God, I've got to do 2-a-days. Like, I haven't done 2-a-days since I was playing sports, right? It doesn't have to be 2 of the craziest workouts that you do every single day. Like, most of my days consist of 1 really good, solid workout and then 1 really solid, brisk walk, maybe at an incline, maybe on a stair stepper, maybe at a higher pace. Like, I'm getting my body moving, I'm getting my heart rate up in that second workout, but I'm not pushing myself nearly as hard as I did in my first workout of the day. So take that into account. Just because it says you have to do 2 workouts a day doesn't mean that you have to push your body to its absolute limits. This is also a marathon, not a sprint. So I like that 75 Hard is 75 days long instead of, say, 30 or 60, because you really feel like you have time to build up a program. You don't feel like you're trying to see results in this super short amount of time. You have time. It's okay. You don't have to try and force your body to see these results and force your body to be on this program. It doesn't have to be like that. Like, you've got time. You've got 11 weeks. Your body can change a lot. Your habits can change a lot. Your routine can change a lot in 11 weeks. So take it easy. Marathon, not a sprint. Also, this week on Thursday was my 1 week mark on creatine. So I just wanted to do like a little, hold on, let me get my creatine. So yeah, I've been taking creatine for the first time in my life for 1 week this week. I am using this Naked brand creatine. It's 1 scoop a day, 5 grams in a scoop. So that's the serving size that I do. I put it in my protein shake, and you know, I used to be a really big gym girly when I was in college, and people had told me back then to like consider taking creatine, like it really helps with muscle growth, energy levels, things like that. But I guess I always associated creatine with gym boys, like gym bros that are in there and have these upper bodies that are massive and they've obviously skipped a leg day. Like that's just what I associate creatine with. But I was doing a lot of research on just like muscle recovery and keeping your body going and energy levels and things like that when you're working out rather intensely. And creatine kept coming up. It kept coming up as one of the most named supplements to take. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna give it a go. And y'all, so far, I mean, I'm not a scientist, but I feel really good. Okay, so creatine is supposed to help with energy levels, muscle growth, recovery, focus, all of those things, like just kind of an overall, right? And that's how I feel. I mean, a lot of it has to do with my routine and I'm just super laser focused right now, but I do think that the creatine could be potentially helping with that. I don't really see any negative side effects. I will say that. One of the biggest side effects that I read about was dehydration, and to just be aware of that. Now, I find it a little hard to be dehydrated when I have to drink a gallon of water every day on 75 hard. That's also one of the rules. I'm peeing every 5 seconds because of this. Like, I drink so much water. There have been times where I've noticed like a little bit of cotton mouth and this, that, and the other, and that very well could be from the creatine. So I'll keep an eye on that. But so far I have absolutely nothing negative to say about taking creatine, and we're just gonna kind of keep seeing how it's going, especially as I kind of start my new gym routine next week and really focus heavy on the lifting side of things and weight training. I think that's when I'll really start to be able to have an opinion on the effects of creatine. So stay tuned for that. Also, this week, okay, so part of 75 Hard, if you don't know, if you haven't watched my videos, I highly suggest you do. Explaining the rules of 75 Hard is you have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction personal development book every single day. So I started reading Attached. This was the book that I started with. Super easy read. I finished it in like a week and a half, reading it at night before bed. Super, super easy read. So this book is all about the different attachment styles and how different attachment styles interact with each other in relationships, and how you can understand your own attachment style, understand the attachment style of others, and kind of work through conflict and things like that. It's a good book. It's a good book. I mean, I already knew about attachment styles before I read the book. So I kind of knew what I was. I was aware that I was already aware that I was anxiously attached, and I kind of understood what they were. I don't think that this is like the most profound personal development or relationship book that I've ever read. I think that if you don't know about attachment styles, if you're wondering what yours is, wondering what your partner's is, wondering what you can do to maybe overcome your attachment styles, like I think that this could be a beneficial book. But I do think that the concepts are kind of rudimentary, and I do think it's a little repetitive. I do think that they kind of say the same things in circles sometimes, but nonetheless, it was a super easy read, and if you're curious, it's definitely worth the time. It won't take you any time to blow through. So not like one that I would necessarily recommend out to everyone, but if you're interested, it's worth the read. So now that I'm done with this, I needed a new book to read. And initially I was gonna read The 48 Laws of Power, But then I was listening to a podcast and I was listening about this book, Mastery, which is by the same author as the 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. It's by the same author. He's written a few really, really popular personal development self-help books, but I was really drawn to what this book was about. So this book is all about kind of finding what your personal calling is, figuring out what you are meant to do with your life, and then figuring out how to implement that into your life and build a life around what you're meant to do and what your purpose is. And I just think that that's really, really cool. And I've read a lot of personal development books in my day. I've read a lot of self-improvement books in my day. It is probably my favorite type of book to read. And this is a topic that I personally haven't read a book on. So I haven't read a book specifically about finding your purpose, implementing your purpose, and building a life around your purpose. Like, that is the entire purpose of this book. So I'm excited to read this. The podcast that I was listening to is actually an Andrew Huberman podcast, Huberman Lab. And he said that this book changed his life and that he recommends it to all, when he was a professor, he recommended it to all of his students at the end of every semester. So I think that holds some weight. And so far, I just started it, but so far I'm liking the language, I'm liking the tone. It's definitely a more difficult read than, say, Attached. The language is a lot more advanced and things like that, but so far so good. I'll keep y'all updated on this. This one's definitely gonna take me longer to get through than Attached did. Okay, probably the second biggest lesson that I learned this week, and I didn't see this one coming, that's for sure. So if you've been keeping up with me on TikTok or my shorts on YouTube, then you will have seen that I had been doing kind of daily vlogs of my 75 hard journey. And I woke up to a comment on one of my videos essentially telling me to be careful posting my daily routine, that there are weird people out there, and that I should carry pepper spray on my walks. This made me pause. Because I had not thought of this. Honestly, I had not thought of this, and it was kind of crazy to me that I had not thought of this, because I watch every true crime documentary show that one could possibly watch. It's like primarily the only TV I watch. I watch 2020, Dateline, all of it, right? I know that this is a reality. I know that people stalk people. I know that people get fixated on people on the internet. Like, I know that that's a reality, but for some reason it had not even crossed my mind. And I think it hadn't even crossed my mind because I was like, I don't really have that big of a following yet anyways. Like, no one's that interested in what I'm doing to sit there and pick apart every video and try to figure out where I live or what my routine is or what I'm doing. Like, that did not even cross my mind. But they were so right. Like, that is a very real danger of the internet, and it's a very real danger of sharing too much of your personal life or your surroundings on the internet, and it really got me thinking. Like, it got me thinking about doing these daily 75 hard vlogs, and I have decided after that it's not worth the risk. So I am no longer going to be doing my day in the life 75 hard vlogs on TikTok or Shorts. Instead, I'm just going to do a weekly review on TikTok and on Shorts that will just kind of talk about the highlights of each day during the week during 75 hard. But I am going to be posting my workouts in the gym. I'm going to be posting those on TikToks and my Shorts. That's really the direction I wanted to go after 75 hard was over anyways, was I really wanted to kind of focus on the fitness side of it, the health and fitness side of what I'm learning during 75 hard and implementing in my own life to hopefully start to see the body changes and all of that I'm wanting from this. So doing a little bit of a pivot there, a pivot that I did not see coming. I really thought that I was gonna have 75 short videos by the time this was all done, and you could go back and like rewatch the entire process. That's what I had in my head, and they're right though. That's not the smartest thing to do. I don't need everyone knowing my routine every day and kind of seeing my surroundings every day. I don't need that on the internet, and that is a very big learning moment for me. I also don't like to admit when I'm wrong. It's not my strong suit to admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong in this moment. I should not have been videoing that routine every single day. So I'm still gonna share a lot about my 75 hard journey. Obviously on these longer form videos, still gonna be doing it on TikTok and shorts, but it's just gonna be a more bird's eye view version. But stay tuned for a lot more of my health and fitness specific stuff. I'm gonna kind of dive into that a lot more, and a lot of more like tips and tricks and things like that. So gonna switch up the content a little bit. I think it's the smarter thing to do. I think it's the more adult thing to do. So we're gonna do that. But big lesson for me there. Also just like being super active and making a lot of content on the internet, that is a big lesson for me to learn. And I'm glad that I learned it early on and I didn't learn it from a creepy person doing something weird. So thank you. Thank you for that comment. I appreciate it. I hear it. I listen to it. We're good. So yeah, week 2 of 75 hard is over. I think it was a good week. I felt so much more put together in week 2 than I did in week 1. Week 1 was not it for me. It was stressful. There was a lot going on. I was doing way too much. I was putting far too much pressure on myself. And week 2, I really calmed it down a lot. I got a lot of videos posted this week. So if you haven't seen my week 1 review, my week 1 prep, my week 2 prep, my 2024 goals video, my week 3 prep video, like so many videos I posted this week because my Wi-Fi was down last week. So I couldn't really post any videos last week. So I was having to like play catch up. But I got all of those posted this week. I will link everything below. And yeah, it was a really good week. I had a good week. We'll see how week 3 is about to go. The weather in week 3 is about to be absolutely brutal. So stay tuned for how that goes for me. I am in for it, to say the least. But thank you so much. If you're new here, thank you for tuning in. If you've been following along, thank you so much for following my journey. I think it's super cool, some of the comments I've been receiving and just a lot of the love that I've been receiving on the channel so far. So thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of this journey, and I will see you back next time.